If this episode sounds a little weird or off, it's because I've taken all of everybody else's music, like celebrities' music, off of my episodes. So if I'm making references, that's what that means. Welcome to the Queen's Table podcast. I am your host, Marissa J. And yes, I am recording this in my vehicle, in case you hear cars whizzing by. I had some difficulties getting this posted last night like I wanted. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was having a hard time because the platform in which I do these podcasts didn't update on the mobile app version. I usually edit them on the computer, but I ended up somehow deleting the entire thing, and I ended up getting it back. Yay, wonderful. And it's great because I have a guest. Yay! Our very first guest. Her name is Star. We used to work together years ago, and she has agreed to participate in this podcast. So I'm really grateful. It went absolutely perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better show. It's the longest one that I've done so far. I'm very happy about that. I'd like to start doing longer podcasts in the future. But so I ended up recording and then deleting and then finding it again, and yay, everything's fine. But I haven't been to sleep yet. And one of the things that hinders me from doing these podcasts as often as I'd like to is that I try to carve out time when it's perfect. When there's no interruptions, completely silent, completely quiet, and I just don't have that type of time. I'm very busy. I'm always doing something. So, I'm actually on my way to the next town over. And, I figured, hey, I can go ahead and do the intro and the outro this way because it's more realistic. And it also, really lets people know, like, this is me. This is how I am. This is who I am. I'm always doing something. I'm always wrapped up in something. So it's better for me to get over the fact that I'm not really going to have a lot of time to sit in a quiet room and do these podcasts. So anyhow, that's the whole explanation as to why I'm doing this intro and outro in my vehicle, because I'm busy. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about what the podcast is about. It's about relationships, and actually she called me not too long ago. She got in touch with me not too long ago about crocheting an item for her, and I've yet to do that. Sorry, I'm getting on it, I swear. But she called me about that, and we started talking about life in general. It's been a while since we've caught up, and some of the things that we were talking about, I'm like, that would be great to add on to the podcast. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'd like to help out in any way. You can talk about this or that. And I'm like, no, I want you on because I've been wanting a guest, and you would be a great first guest. This would be amazing. I think this conversation would be amazing, and it was. It ended up being But in my opinion, the best one that I've put out so far. It's not really saying much, seeing as how this is episode 7, but I think it's going to be the start of a string of really good podcasts, because I like having a guest and not just talking by myself. Even though I do have a lot of things to say, I'd like to say them to someone instead of just in my phone. But anyhow, this podcast is about relationships and a lot of things surrounding it. I personally, my views have been swayed relatively recently about relationships, and I don't know. I think it's a good thing for other people to hear, because a lot of people end up having certain problems and issues, not just with their relationships, but with themselves. And I think knowing that someone else is going through what you're going through, no matter how big or small the problem is, just knowing that somebody else has that same issue, it sometimes makes it better. I know that as a mother, when I had my first child, I got stressed a lot. People always tell me, "Oh, you have 4 children. I don't see how you do it. I only have 1." Hey, 1 is more than enough to really put someone over the edge. And I had some problems. And then I realized, I talked to my friends and realized, dang, everybody has these issues. And it made me feel a lot better. And I had a lot less breakdowns. But anyhow, this is my intro. And I really hope that you guys enjoy the show. So, what's the ideal relationship for you?
I would have to say the ideal relationship for me would be what you were taught growing up. Of course, your parents always, you see this every day. And like growing up, how we grew up, the mom and dad in the home, and the children, knew both of their parents and they were in that home together. Versus now, we deal with relationships where, okay, you have stepmom, stepdad. They kind of didn't come into play, and people didn't really notice that until our day and time.
Yeah.
So the ideal relationship for me, really, that's what we based it upon throughout life. Earlier on. But the ideal relationship for me, I would say, 2 individuals that build together, they're a team, work together, overcome obstacles, and maintain the best of the best.
Right.
Right.
And
how do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. But I've also found that a lot of the relationships that I end up getting into, the male in the relationship wants to be able to control everything. Now, it's not that I'm attracted to that. And especially now, because I am a single mom, you're a single mom, we're used to doing things by ourselves.
Right.
The guy that I'm seeing now, when I was over at his house the other day, we went to a vape shop, and he was teaching me, like, I ended up getting a new coil, and he took my vape apart, and he was showing me how to clean it properly and how to put it back together. And I found myself getting really irritated with him. Now, it wasn't anything he did. It wasn't anything he said. This is 100% a me problem because he was telling me how to do, teaching me how to do something that I didn't already know how to do. I'm so used to figuring stuff out for myself that when someone else is in the picture and they're like, hey, let me show you something. Let me show you a different way. Let me show you an easier way. Let me show you how to do this. I want to scream, fuck you. I can do it by myself.
Gotcha.
Knowing good and damn well that I don't know how to do that. You know, this guy is a perfectly decent guy. But it's so serious, it's so silly that it irritated me. And I had to think to myself, reel it in. You know, this isn't a normal thing to get upset with, which is why I don't get into relationships right now. It's because I have a lot to work on. That's one of the things that I have to work on, you know? We all have issues that we can work on, and some people are better at working on those issues with someone else. I'm not one of those people. That goes back into playing with, I can do it on my own. Knowing good and damn well I can't do it on my own.
Yeah.
You know, I am going to have somebody to tell me, hey, reel it in, calm down, chill out. It's not that serious. But I'd have to be able to receive it in a way that's not threatening. Because you tell me to calm down, I'm going to get even angrier, you know? And it just blows itself out of proportion. So that's, I can't get into a relationship because of that. But my idea of a relationship is exactly what you said. Two people working and building together, you know, not just, oh, I love you, you love me, and we're just going to live happily ever after. Because how does that work?
Yeah.
You know, I want to be with someone that understands that. And I say I don't want to be in a relationship, and I don't. But at the same time, eventually, at some point, I'd like to get married.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to be able to be in a healthy state of mind in which I can be with someone else. But, you know, when I get to that point, I want that other person to understand, hey, she has a life, she has goals, she has dreams, she has ambitions, and so do I.
Yeah.
We work on that together, but we live our separate lives. But we work on it together. We build each other up. You know, I'm not going to be anybody's princess. I'm going to be someone's queen.
Yes.
I don't want to have any prince. I don't want a Prince Charming. I want a king.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
and it comes like what you said, happily ever after. This quote that by Tara. I don't know who she is, but I Googled it, you know, and it says happily ever after doesn't exist. Every day you wake up and decide to love your partner in your life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Some days it's a struggle. And some days you feel like the luckiest person in the world. So with that being said, like you say, hey, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I'm a single mom just like you. You know, we're both single moms. And my boyfriend that I'm dating now, I've had a lot of issues because of things that I saw growing up, and I didn't want to be like my mom. I didn't want to be like people that I saw that were in these relationships, or other people that they stuck with the individual that their significant other because, hey, they feel like, well, they don't want to be judged by other people, or they didn't want their kids grow up without their father in the home.
Right.
Me personally, like my boyfriend now, he tells me, hey, like the groceries, I will get all the bags, put them on both arms, carry him in the house without his help. And he's like, well, you let me be the man. And I had to, it dawned on me. And I'm like, look, you don't have to let this man be the man. If this is who you want to be with. Because if not, you're going to lose him.
Right. Right.
And I felt myself like every time he always tells me, look, are you gonna let me be the man? or are you going to be the man? If so, then I'm not going to be in this relationship.
Right.
So I understand like where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that you're used to doing on your own.
Right.
And I'm used to doing it on my own. I'm used to doing everything on my own with no help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course you have your mom and your dad whenever you need them to talk to them, or if you need them to pick up the kids for you or something, they're there to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you, inside your personal space, you have to share that personal space with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to deal with, especially if you've been doing it for a long ass time.
Yep.
So I myself, I mean, you know, I applaud the women that are able
Mm-hmm.
to accept that man in their life and to allow him to help them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get over certain, you know, things, or to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are teachable still.
Right.
It's just that we have to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what we're used to.
Right.
So,
right.
mm-hmm.
And see, I have an issue with monogamous relationships. I would like to be in a monogamous relationship, but I don't know at this point if that can be a thing. Because, and I take this analogy. I can't remember who it was that said it. I can't. Right. But this analogy just really stood out to me. He said, it was this guy, he's actually a stand-up comedian, and he was talking about how his dad explained relationships to him. He asked his dad, how did he know that his mom was the right one for him? Because they loved each other so much, and, you know, this, that, and the other. So he asked him, how did you know that mom was the one for you? And his dad explained it like this. Everyone has a jigsaw puzzle, and you want to find the person that completes that jigsaw puzzle. And everything in your life, everything else, all the other pieces will fit around that one piece, which is a beautiful thing.
I love how that's put together.
I do too.
Yeah.
But then you start to think, okay, everyone does have their own jigsaw puzzle. And everyone else starts working on that jigsaw puzzle at different times. Sometimes that jigsaw puzzle is almost complete already. And then you find that one last piece that you try to make fit into it. And sometimes that piece just doesn't fit.
You're right.
Sometimes you try to jam that piece in and take a hammer to it and try and make it fit. And it might fit there for a while, but then eventually it starts to swell, and that piece is going to pop out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think about stuff like that. I also think that in a world with a population of over 7 billion people, why is it that we think only one person is there for us? Maybe this guy over here can fit in this area of my jigsaw puzzle. and I'm able to work around that. The reason why I say that is because I have a couple of different friends that I go to for specific things. So I have this one friend, let's call her Amber. Okay. So Amber is not her real name, but she's not here, so I'm going to use a different name. Amber is very, very smart. She helped me write my resume. She's very level-headed. And so when I have, perfect example, not too long ago, I had gotten a job offer. Someone had found my resume online, and they called me up and told me about a job offer. They emailed me some of the stuff, and I went to her with it. And I was like, hey, listen, this is, you know, what they're offering. This is what they're doing. Immediately, she goes right into the, you know, the logical mode, and she says, okay, well, they're offering this much money a year. Break it down. How much is that a month? How much is that a week? How much are your paychecks going to be? They say that they're going to start you off with a sign-on bonus, and over a period of, you know, 4 to 5 paychecks, break that down. It's only this amount of money. They do offer this benefit, and this benefit. But these benefits that they don't offer, you're going to have and you're going to have to pay out of pocket. So essentially what you're bringing home before your bills is this much money. Not only that, there is no corporate ladder to climb. So is that really worth leaving what you're doing now? Yeah, it's slightly more money, but you're not going to go anywhere with this.
Yeah.
Over here, yeah, you are making less money, but you're getting up there, and there's room for you to climb.
It's room for growth.
Right. So, I called her because she's able to explain things to me in a way that I can understand. Now, I have another friend. Let's call her Amanda. I would never go to Amanda about something like that. Never, ever, ever, ever in 1,000,001 years, I would never go to Amanda about something like that, because she wouldn't be able to break it down. She'll hear it and go, well, damn, that sounds like a lot of money. Take that job. And if I listen to her, I'm fucking up my life.
And you're stuck.
And I'm stuck. So, who did I say? Amber, she's able to fit into an area of my jigsaw puzzle of life that she wouldn't be able to fit into, say, if I was talking about a relationship.
That's where Amanda comes in.
That's where Amanda comes in, because Amanda knows how I am. And she knows, bitch, you're not going to be with this dude,
It's just a fling.
Right. She's able to see that immediately and break that down to me in a way that I can understand, in which Amber is just so eager to see me with someone. Because when we first met, I was with someone and I put on the facade that I was happy. And so that's who she's used to seeing. This person that I've been for the last couple of years, it's not who she's used to seeing. And she wants me to be happy. So anytime that I'm talking about any kind of guy, she's like, oh my God. And she hears wedding bells and she starts planning. And it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So why would that be any different with other relationships? Maybe this person can provide for me everything that I need intellectually, while this person over here can provide for me everything that I need spiritually. Well, this guy over here can provide everything that I need sexually. It can work that way.
Gotcha.
So not a lot of people, when I talk about open relationships and things like that, a lot of people like to shut down because they're only thinking, oh, well, she's a whore. She just wants to sleep around with other people and wants her cake and eat it too. But it's not necessarily about that, because I wouldn't even be having sex with someone that I'm with. It doesn't have to be a sexual relationship. I've had a relationship in which I never had sex with that person, and I'm still not really over him. And it's difficult to try and explain that in certain terms, which is, I guess, why I'm having such a hard time with what all I'm going through now. Now, for the last couple months, for this year, this is what, almost November? No, it's not. It's October. It's nowhere near November.
November will be here before you know.
Right. It really will. It really will. And then we'll just have a month and some change left on this year.
Yeah.
But for the entire year of 2018, I've been doing me. Now, since I've left my ex, I've been, I can't date. I don't want to date. After my parents split up, they did not date anybody until well after I was 18. I'll take that back. My mom did date this one guy. I was 15 and I feel horrible about it, but I told her, I don't want you dating anyone. You can't date anybody. Like, I'm still a child and I need you to be there for me 100%. I'm a selfish child. I'm a teenage child. I need you to focus 100% of your attention on me, not with somebody else. So, yeah, that was a really bratty thing to do. I took away my mom's potential happiness with this other guy because I was being selfish. But at the same time, I felt selfish the first time I tried to date after leaving my ex. And my daughter was 3. that my youngest child was 3 years old, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I still have children that I need to focus 100% of my time and energy and attention to. But at the same time, it gets so lonely,
Yeah.
you need somebody else. You really and truly do. Now, does it have to be one person? Not necessarily.
Well, I get what you're saying. Like affection, the affection, the love and affection you show towards your children are completely different from a relationship with a man or a relationship with a friend, someone what you would call a friend. I get what you're saying completely, but I never, like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm with that person. So I've never tried to do like the open relationship thing. It's just never been in my mindset having an open relationship. I've never even talked about it with my significant other. So I mean, but I know I see people that've done it, and I've seen it work for them. So I'm not necessarily saying that what works for me will work for you. What works for you will work for me.
Right.
So I feel like if you're able to have those open relationships and to be able to maintain and be able to get what you need out of it, then I say go for it.
Right.
And people are judgmental when it comes to people that want to deal with open relationships and things. And I don't feel like, you should judge people because of what they are. It's just like racism to me. You're judging a person, you're judging an individual because of their color, their skin color, So I necessarily feel like my relationship, like now, the relationship I'm in, we've had many obstacles, but I feel like that's who I want to be with. I found the one. Like I've dated before, and I felt selfish when it came to me dating other people, and I have a child at home, like you say, and I'm like, well, I can't have her and this person together. Like, I wanted her to be there. Like sometimes when I had with my significant other now, when we first dated, and I told him, I was like, I can't wait till you meet her because I love the both of you. And I said, I think that, we'll be the perfect family. And one day I let her meet him and she loves him too. So it's like, if you find that one person, that one individual that you see your children interact with, and it's the best feeling, and you know for sure that, hey, my children love this man just as much as I love him,
right?
Then you might feel like, well, dang, he could be the one. But like I've dated people, and I just knew right then and there, oh, I can't bring this individual around my child because if I did, my child's not gonna like him.
Right.
My child has a smart mouth.
Right.
And she will tell me, she don't like that person, that individual.
Right.
So I get what you're saying, and I love the way that you put the relationships, like you said, relationships are not necessarily, oh, I'm with this, with men or with a woman. It's basically, relationships that you have, like friendships, family relationships. Of course, relationships with a man or a woman. But I just feel like relationships now are not like it used to be. Like, people have the mindset of, at first, back in the day, as we call it, they say, well, you should pick one man and be with that individual, and that's who you're going to be with for the rest of your life. Well, back in the, we talked about this too, I don't know if we talked about it, back far beyond, when they made, I think I read this, actually. I read it. They talked about how people back in the day, like back in the 1800s or, whatever, 1700s, 1800s, they felt like relationships, like if you felt like love was a sickness. And it goes back to Romeo and Juliet too. They were two star-crossed lovers, and your parents back then, they made you, they told you who you were going to marry. They set it up,
right?
And so people couldn't be with whoever they loved because their
an
mom and
arranged
dad,
marriage.
yeah, they had arranged marriage already, and they didn't believe in love. Love was a sickness.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah,
I feel like we're able now to love who we want to love and be able to be with whoever we want to be with.
Right.
No matter what your parents say or whomever has anything to say about it.
Right.
So,
right. Well, see, I've yet to introduce anyone to my kids because I don't want my 3 boys to grow up to be men and think that it's okay to come in and out of a woman's life. Mm-hmm. And I don't want my daughter to grow up and think it's okay for a man to come in and out of her life, that's customary, that's the norm. Gotcha. I don't want them to think that way. So, my kids do not know that I see anybody because I don't bring them around. I don't bring them in my house. I don't bring them around my kids because I'm really, really, really overprotective. Yeah. I'm a helicopter mom, and I know that I am. Mm-hmm. The first time I let my oldest son on a swing set by himself was when he was almost 3 years old. Mm-hmm. Like, I am a helicopter mom. I hover. And so, I'm protective mama bear. And until I know you. For sure, like, really know you, you aren't coming anywhere near my kids. The guy that I'm talking to now, he knows more about my children than any other dude that I've talked to. Because I don't really know why. I feel comfortable with them, and I feel like I can, talk to him about a lot of different stuff. But he knows more about them than anybody else, but I know that it's going to be at least, if I continue to see this guy, it's going to be at least, a year before I even think about allowing him anywhere near my kids. Mm-hmm. My ex, he was a very, very bad guy. Mm-hmm. And I let him into my son's life entirely way too early. Yeah. And so my son was able to witness a lot of things that he never should have witnessed. Mm-hmm. So I really need to be able to protect my kids from that. But with that being said, think about it this way. Think about the first person you ever loved. I mean, your very first true love, the guy that you fell head over heels in love with. Oh, no, I mean,
do we have to go all the way back to that?
But no, just think about the way that he made you feel whenever you were with him, whenever you weren't with him, when you got a text message from him, or you see that you have a missed call from him, and your heart jumps because you think, oh, I missed a call from him. Yeah. Now think about the second guy you ever fell in love with. The second guy that made you feel probably a little bit different, but you know that you were in love with him. Now, at your absolute best with the first guy, and at your absolute best with the second guy, what if you had met the both of them at the same time? Who's to say that you would have had to have chosen? You felt love for both of them, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So why would that be such a horrible thing to love the both of them at the same time? You can love more than one person.
You see, I think that's where people get confused at, because some people do meet people at the same exact time. And it's not necessarily, they're not trying to do it. It's just people come in your life different at different times. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for a season. People come in your life for a season. Some people come in your life for a moment. Mm-hmm. And some people are in your life forever. Right. So I feel like, yeah, some people do meet those type of people at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, the thing is, how do you deal with that? Right. How are you supposed to pick and choose who you really want to be with? Right. Well, individual that I know, an older individual, always says, they always say this on Medea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say, hey, write a list of this person and what the good and the bad. And I don't necessarily think that even works. Because it doesn't work for me. And that's not going to determine if I want to be with that individual or not. If I write a list of all the good they've done and all the bad they've done, and the bad outweighs the good, then hey, I'm going to leave them. Or if the good outweighs the bad, I'm going to stay with them. Right. Because you can't go off of what you wrote down on a piece of paper of how your actual feelings that you're feeling inside. Right. You might say, oh, I'm going to leave this individual. You might tell someone you're going to leave them because the bad outweighed the good. But that don't mean you're necessarily going to do it. Like, you might be still talking to them on the side and still talking to someone different. You know, oh, I met someone else. I love this person. But I have this I'm deeply in love with this individual. Even though his ass did me wrong. Drug me through the mud. You know, like, you still, like, and it doesn't matter. You still have love for, you know, your first love. Even though y'all not together no more. Now, I don't necessarily have love for my first love because he was full of shit. But, you know, people tell me. People tell me all the time, hey, I still love my first love, you know, my first or whatever. But I don't necessarily think that, like, some people don't have to pick and choose who they want to be with. Like, you'll know for sure, too. Like, if this person is, they're not communicating with you, they're not talking to you, you know. And see, me, honestly, let me talk about myself before I put my foot in my mouth. So, you know, I'm the type of person, and you've done, you know, you went to school for psychology, right? So, and just tell me what you think about me as an individual. And just be honest.
I don't know about that. I don't like to analyze people.
Be honest. Okay. Be honest, Marissa. Okay. I'm asking you now to be honest. Okay. So what do you feel like with people that have been traumatized when it comes to relationships? You see things in life and you don't want to be like other people, like I said, that you've seen that have gone through a lot of things, and you distance yourself every time something happens. You may be in a relationship, but you don't want that individual to have to deal with you because you're going through something. Right. So you cut them off completely because you're like, I don't want them to have to deal with me and what I'm going through. Not thinking about, hey, that's what a relationship is based off of. You're supposed to let that individual in. You're supposed to talk to them about what you're going through. Right. But if you weren't raised like you weren't raised that way, you didn't see your parents interacting or talking to each other about situations. All you saw was them fighting, constantly fighting and breaking up, or, you know, your mom letting them back in or whatever, and they're good. So you don't necessarily know how to go about being in a real relationship. So you cut that individual off because you don't want to fight with them. You don't want to fist fight. You don't want to go back and forth with them on the phone or in person. You just want to cut them off so you can clear your head, and you just need a while to think about it, because first off, you don't want your child to see it. See, when children get involved, that worsens the situation, because that means that, you know, hey, you can risk different things. Like, you can risk kids getting taken away from you. You can risk traumatizing the child, because if they see this, then hey, like you said, they see things that are going on with mama. They think that it's okay. Right. And it's not. Right. So how do you feel about me? My significant other, I have issues with certain things, and my issue is me leaving when something bad happens or something drastic happens in my life, and I don't want to include them because I don't want them to get hurt or me to say anything to them that I will regret. Right. So, right.
Here's the thing. Because I have the exact same issue.
Really? Yes. See, I did not know that.
I have the exact same issue. My knee-jerk reaction is run away. As soon as things start to get tough, not because I don't want to deal with it, but because I don't feel that it's fair to put myself and this other person through some shit because of my own shit. Yeah. So my knee-jerk reaction is run away. which is another reason, one of my issues why I don't want to start in with any type of relationship. I'm working on that. And that's what I would suggest to you. Work on that. After leaving my ex, I was extremely lonely, but I knew that there was so much damage to repair from that relationship. I mean, and I told you about this before. He would say things like, you know where your meal ticket is. You're not going to leave me. You already, it's things like that you keep saying that over and over and over to a person.
You start believing
it.
Yes.
There's no possible way that I could leave this person, no matter how many times he beats me, no matter how many times he cheats on me, no matter how wrong he does me. I can't leave this person because he said so. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of issues that I need to work through personally before I can drag somebody else into it. But what I started to do, what I knew I needed to do first and foremost before any and everything else, if I ever, and I told myself I'm never going to get into another relationship again. This was some bullshit. I don't want to do it anymore. But if I ever, even at 80 years old, think, well, maybe I can get into a relationship now. Mm-hmm. If that were to ever be a thing, I need to learn how to be alone with me. Mm-hmm. I need to I need to relearn me, because I'm not the same person that I was. The person that I was when I was a teenager, I was a horrible, horrible, awful, terrible person. Mm-hmm. A terrible human being. Ugh. I wasn't that same person in my 20s. Mm-hmm. In my 20s, I did a complete 180. I changed literally everything about myself. I'm not that same person now. So I've got to be able to relearn myself. After I left my ex, I realized I don't fucking like wrestling. I watched it all the time with him. I convinced myself I was a wrestling fan. I don't fucking like wrestling.
You just watched it because of him.
Because of him. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of things because of him. And it took me a long time to realize that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. So I had to go back and find who Marissa was. Mm-hmm. And that took a long time. So after finding out who Marissa was and going through tons and tons of trials and errors, realizing, okay, this is who I am. Now I need to learn how to love and accept that.
So, okay, with you being a psychiatrist.
I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not licensed to give any type of help.
How long do you feel an individual should give themselves? How much time do you think they should allow themselves to get to know them, to overcome what they've been through? And
you're putting a time limit on things. And that is the first thing that you have to get out of your head. Our brains can't comprehend a timeless situation. Mm-hmm. Everything has a time. Days have times. Seasons have times, years have time, decades have time, centuries have times, millennia has times. Mm-hmm. We cannot comprehend. That's why we can't comprehend how vast the universe is. Yeah. We can't think beyond that it's infinite. How can anything be infinite? Mm-hmm. Because it is. Yeah. So you can't put a time restriction on things when it comes to that. You do it until you can be happy and content with just yourself. And then, and only then, when you're ready to bring someone else into your jigsaw puzzle, that's when it's time. That's when it's ready. You can't say, I can't tell you, you need 6 months to pick up different hobbies and have different jobs and go different places and see new people and experience new cultures. I can't say you have X amount of time to do that before you're ready. Because some people, there used to be a rule when you break up with someone, you get, what is it, 1 month for every year that you've been together.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my ex, we were only together for 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. 4.5 months would not be anywhere near, not anywhere near enough time. So you wouldn't be able to put a time restriction on it because you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know how long it's going to take for Star to find Star.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how long it's going to take for Star to start to love Star.
Yeah.
You don't know how long it's going to take for Star to open up her schedule to allow someone else in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying too. Yeah, I understand completely. My ex, I was with him for 7 years. I dealt with a lot in that relationship. I started thinking that I was fat. It's different things. Like, he would say things to me. I wasn't physically abused, but I was mentally abused.
Oh, yeah. So and that can be just as bad.
That's just as bad. And when I found someone, I allowed myself 4 years before I was able to find someone that I could truly trust and consider myself able to be open with and honest and be able to allow myself to let them be with me. You have to let somebody be with you.
Right.
If you don't do that, that person can't be with you.
Right.
They may be with you, but you're not with them, you know?
Right.
So I feel like I'm now in a relationship where we're both with each other. We just have a lot of obstacles.
And that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
A relationship isn't going to be, rainbows and cupcakes. It's never going to be that way. It's always going to be give and take, 50-50.
Yeah.
You've got to be able, not even 50-50, 100-100. And see, that's another reason why I can't get into anything with anybody, because I'm not ready or willing to divide my time with the multitude of other things that I'm doing. I can't, if I have an opening in my schedule, then I've got to be able to find a person in which I'm willing to give that time to. And that's a huge step for me.
You're a busy woman.
I'm very busy.
Yes.
I am extremely busy. So and I don't mean to sound, selfish when I say this or narcissistic when I say this, but if I'm able to find time in my day to spend with you, with a man, with you, that's right. I like you.
Yes.
I like you.
You really like them. Yeah.
I really do. Even if it's just once a month. Hey, I fucking like you because I'm cutting out time with this. I'm cutting out time with that. I'm cutting out time with my kids,
some of everything.
My work, podcast, teaching people how to crochet, crocheting for, different boutiques. I am taking time, writing my book. I'm taking time away from all of that to be with you. So if I were to be in a monogamous relationship, I would need to give 100%. I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not. I'm still working. I've learned who Marissa is, and I've learned to love who Marissa is. Now I'm working on Marissa. I'm working on my career. I'm working on my mental health because I cannot be in any type of stable relationship with a new person. I can't bring on a new thing. I can create time in my day for someone new, to get to learn them and to get to know them and to get to find out whether or not I do want to make more time out of my schedule. This person that I'm talking to now, we're friends. I tell him about things. He tells me about things. We are friends that do stuff. So we're friends with benefits. So, and I've had that before, and that always turned sour because I wasn't creating enough time for them. And it's like, but you are my friend. I'm not going to carve out any extra time for the friends that I have now in my life. If I have an opening, absolutely, positively, But I'm not going to say, you know, that's my boss calling me. Not answering it. See, I'm not answering it. Yeah. I do not have time for you. This is my day off.
Yes. So you have to allow yourself that time.
Right.
You need time for you and what you enjoy doing.
Right.
I honestly, I told my boyfriend that I didn't like anybody. Mm-hmm. I had got to the point where, and I've always been like this. Mm-hmm. Somebody could introduce me to someone, and it might be someone I might end up talking to, but at first I don't like them. Right. I've always been like this. So I talk to people, and I could be talking to them for a while, like just texting or talking to them over the phone. Mm-hmm. Then I decide one day, I don't really like them. Mm-hmm. So I don't talk to them anymore. Mm-hmm. and then they text you and say, hey, stranger, where have you been? And you're like, I just decided that this is not for me.
Right. Like you're not, mm-hmm. You're literally not worth my time.
I'm not interested like I thought I was, mm-hmm. but this is not what I really wanted. Right. And so I told my boyfriend, this is the first time like I ever saw myself actually being in a relationship and staying in it. Mm-hmm. Because my relationships in the past, my 7-year relationship, it lasted, mm-hmm. but it only lasted because of my child. Mm-hmm. That was my child's father. Mm-hmm. So it lasted that long because my parents, of course, you go off of what people think. Oh, you should be with this individual because that's your child's father, mm-hmm. and it's the right thing to do. Right. Right. And you don't want anybody else, another man, bringing up your child or, mm-hmm. Telling them what to do and, mm-hmm. All that. So I was caught up in that at one time in my life. And then after my ex cheated on me, mm-hmm. this was the third time. They say 3 strikes and you're out. Mm-hmm. The third time he cheated on me, he was asleep. Someone kept telling me, as I can recall, and I hate talking about this fool, but as I can recall, he was asleep, mm-hmm. and he works third shift. Mm-hmm. I had taken our daughter to daycare, mm-hmm. so it was kind of like the time where I was able to clean up and run errands or whatever during that morning because I was off that day. Mm-hmm. So I kept asking him. It was this keyboard player that kept calling him, and he's a musician too. Mm-hmm. He's a percussionist, mm-hmm. and I kept on saying, why are you not answering the phone for the keyboard player? Right. Oh, he doesn't want anything. I'll call him back. This keyboard player was leaving messages. It was getting to the point where it was getting ridiculous. Mm. So, and that's why they say don't go looking for something, because if you go looking for it, you're going to find it, Yep. So I was looking for it. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through this fool's phone. Right. So I go through his phone and I hear this. Hey, I'm trying to figure out what happened. Oh. We did it. It was good. Oh. And you're not responding to my text messages or my calls. What's going on? Girl, I must have lost it. Yeah. I snapped. Yeah. And I see, you see snapped on television, reality TV. Right. Before I knew it, this fool was asleep. I slapped him out of his sleep, girl. Yeah. I was like, what? Right. Who is this? Mm-hmm. And he's like, what are you talking about? And little did he know that I had got her number. I had 2 phones. Mm-hmm. I had one actual phone that I paid the phone bill on. Mm-hmm. And those little government phones they give you when you have food stamps. Yeah. I had one of those phones. Mm-hmm. Put a number in this phone. I kept saying, which one, contemplating on which one I'm going to, call her on. I'm going to call her on the government phone or my phone. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to call this bitch on the government phone. I don't want her to know my number. Right. So I put it in my phone. Now I listened to what he says. And why you slap me? We're going back and forth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is not the keyboard player. This is female. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I said, what is it? What's going on here? Right. And he's like, this is when we had broke up and, you had kicked me out. I'm not talking to her anymore and that's that. And I was like, well, how did you meet her? No, he told me. What? At a convenience store, at a gas station. So you meet random bitches at a gas station and fucking them, you know? So I'm like, this is really messed up.
Right.
So, and it was to the point where we weren't doing anything. We weren't even having sex. Mm-hmm. We scheduled sex. Mm. And we only could have it whenever he wanted to have it. So I was thinking his ass is gay anyways, you know? So, you know, I don't have anything against gay people, but I'm like, you know, this nigga gay, you know?
Yeah, this nigga gay.
I don't say a nigga. But, so I go off. I'm like, you know what? I'm mad. I don't want to talk right now. Mm. I'm going to the store. Mm. So I go to the store. And I pull up at, you know, on, by the Big Lots and the Big Lots and the Dollar Tree.
We're here in town?
On Northwest. Yeah.
In town?
In town.
Okay.
I pull up over there in that area. Mm-hmm. And I call her. Mm-hmm. And she answers the phone. And I say, you know, hello. You know, my first thing is like, how am I go about talking to this bitch about? And I hate to call her bitch, but you know, I call my friends bitches. You know, we all call each other that.
Right. But right.
But I'm like, well, how am I going to talk to her? So I go about and I start talking to her, and we get to talking, and I tell her who I am, and I ask her where does she stand in my child's father's life. I also let her know that we are engaged. We've been engaged for 3 years. Still haven't gotten married. But, you know, I was waiting on him because he wasn't ready to get married just then. You know, they always tell you that. So she was like, I didn't know, you know, and I said, we have a child together, you know, we've been together for a long time, 7 years. And she said, I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me he had a child, you know. And she goes about how they met, and he been over her house, you know, he comes over there and, you know, give her the, you know, the business. And she, you know, was falling for him. So then she comes and asks me, she's like, hey, well, after all of this, you know, we talked or whatever, are you still going to be with him? So, of course, you know, I'm like, girl, no, I'm not going to be with him, you know, this decision. I'm like, are you? And she's like, no. So it leaves a question mark there. And I ended up, you know, leaving him because of it. Because I'm like, I tried to be with him, but it just wasn't the same.
Right. Of course.
And so I saw my sister. She came over there or whatever with her significant other. And I just busted out in tears, and I told her about it, and she was like, this is not good. You know, she's like, how many times has he done this? You know, I was 19. I can recall when the first time he actually cheated on me, and it was with a younger girl. The girl was super young. She was still a teenager, and he was in his early 20s. So it was, I was like, this guy, you know, I allowed him so many times to do this to me. I deserve better. So now the guy I'm with now, he makes me feel like I'm actually someone, and that I'm loved, and he appreciates me, and he takes care of me. I've never had that, so I don't want to ever let that go. Right. So when you find something like that, it's hard to try to find someone else to talk to, or to be with someone different. Right. You may never find anyone else like that.
Right, so. Right. And you start to think, you know, I'm putting in time and work and effort, and I don't want that to go to waste. You know, with my ex, it wasn't the first time, but it was one of the first times it was the first time that I had hard evidence that he was cheating on me. I had an inkling beforehand. He was throwing out all kinds of red signals, but the first time, he was on Facebook on my tablet, and he didn't sign out.
On your tablet?
On my tablet, he didn't sign out. Now, I'm not the person, I don't go through people's phones, because my mom used to go through my room all the time, and I felt like I had zero privacy. And she had found cigarettes, and you know, when I was going through that awkward stage, she found porno magazines, you know, like, and it was, I finally said to her, I was like 16, she found a pack of cigarettes, and I said, you know, I was really upset with her. And I said, you know, if you didn't want to find something bad, why did you go looking for something bad? You knew something was here. So why did you go looking for it? So I always kind of think, like, if I feel the need to go through his phone, through anybody's phone or through anybody's stuff, their personal space, then it's time to go. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have to feel that way, and I shouldn't have to satisfy that feeling by invading someone else's privacy by doing that. He used to go through my phone all the time, constantly. Never found anything because I never did anything. Mm-hmm. But at that point in time, I was like, he keeps going through my stuff. It has to be because he's doing something. I finally have an opportunity. He used to keep his phone locked all the time. He would go to the bathroom and lock his phone. Oh. Now, this was back in the day.
He took the phone with him to the bathroom?
No, even if he couldn't take the phone to the bathroom, like if he was taking a shower or something. Mm-hmm. And he would leave the phone in the bedroom. This was back in the day where you had to put in your code to lock your phone. It didn't just lock automatically like it does now. Oh. Yeah. So he would go and intentionally lock his phone before he would step into the shower.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I never had an opportunity to catch him, Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so he went to work, and at this point, I didn't think he was cheating on me because he had 2 jobs. And because he refused to let me work and go back to school, he was like, no, I'll just get 2 jobs. It's mm-hmm. fine. I'm like, that's stupid. But anyway, so he left he left his Facebook profile on my tablet, and I go to his messages, and I see messages like from his mom and from his sister and from his friends. And then I see this one message from this female that has kids, and I let my kids play with her kids. And these messages were going back and forth. And basically what happened was they had sex several times.
Oh, man.
And then she started to accuse him of rape when she got caught.
That's ridiculous.
Now, at this point, I'm sitting here like, well, fuck it. Mm-hmm. Let him go to jail for rape, even if it didn't happen. Let him go to jail for rape because shouldn't have, messed around. And, I'm sitting here, I'm pregnant, I just had your baby, and you're doing this.
That's
but
crazy.
It's crazy. But then, I'm like, that's messed up. If you didn't do the crime, no matter how horrible of a human you are, if you didn't do it,
someone shouldn't accuse you of something
right,
that they do.
Exactly. No matter how horrible of a person you are.
I don't think people even think about that, because I've had a friend that's happened to too. Mm-hmm. You don't think about it. Okay, you accuse someone of doing something like this. A man, mm-hmm. you're a woman, you accuse them. Mm-hmm. Okay, of course they're going to probably go to jail. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's going to be a process that they have to go through. Once they find out that man is innocent, mm-hmm. you in trouble.
Yep.
So why even go through all of that? Just tell the truth.
Right. Because that woman that got Emmett Till killed.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because women will that people will believe women. And I hate to. Okay, so maximum recording time is 60 minutes. So I'm going to pause this and then add another segment. Okay, so with having to go through, people's phones and stuff like that, like I was saying, mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cut it off. But at the same time, I haven't been in a relationship, and so I don't know if I'm going to be paranoid like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be like, well, he said that he was going to be off at 2:00 and it is 2:01, so he's cheating on me, so I'm done, Yeah. I don't know if that's how I'm going to end up being. So I just figure, okay, it's going to be a whole lot better for everyone involved if I just, continue to work on me. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the things that, we really need to start doing. And I think that it's prevalent in the Black community, especially with Black women, that and it's changing now. Mm-hmm. Now it's changing just over the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, it's changing. But it had been so prevalent that, like you were saying, this is your baby's father, mm-hmm. This is who you need to be with. because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
My parents were not happy to hear them tell her. They weren't happy for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
For a really long time. And they stayed married to each other well over 20 years.
Uh-huh.
But they weren't happy together. I didn't see that. I didn't see any unhappiness when when my dad sat us down and told us that they were getting a divorce. We were like, what the fuck?
How did that make you feel though? Like knowing that your parents...
I was so incredibly confused.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my parents are really old school. They don't talk about politics with us. They don't talk about finances with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that not talking about finances, that really kind of messed me up because I didn't really learn how to budget my money. I didn't learn how to save my money until, relatively recently. And so have had a lot of, issues with that. With my dad, short backstory, with my dad, my grandfather owned one of the few black-owned barbershops in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, he was born in the 40s. So he's much older. So when he was in the second grade, he told my grandfather that he wanted to shine shoes in the barbershop. He wanted a job and he wanted to make his own money. He's in the second fucking grade, So right. So my grandfather gave him some seed money, bought him all the stuff that he needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, so from here on out, I'm not going to give you any more money. You're going to have to take the money that you earned and put it back into your overhead. Everything that you need to continue to shine shoes, that's what you need to spend your money on. Everything else you need to save, or you can spend it or do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's your money.
Yeah.
The only thing about it is you cannot quit. I'm not going to let you quit. You tell that to a second grader can't conceive time the way that an adult can. So when he was told he couldn't quit, my dad was like, okay, great. That means I have a job forever. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that he was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So once he got older and his friends were able to go out and play semi-unsupervised and, things were happening after school stuff and he wanted to be a part of that. My grandfather said, no, you made a commitment. You're going to stick with it. You told me that you wanted to shine shoes. That's what you're doing. You're not going to quit. I told you you can't quit. So all throughout elementary school, all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, my dad shined shoes in my grandfather's barbershop. One time he escaped
mm-hmm.
to go to a football game in high school. And my grandfather caught up with him and beat the fuck out of him in front of all of his friends, in front of everybody,
mm-hmm.
And reminded him, you can't quit. You have a commitment. You made a commitment to do this. You're going to see it through.
This is what you chose to do.
This is what you chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see it through. I don't care how you feel about it now. That's how you felt about it then. You're going to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad kind of resented my grandfather for a long time after that. Eventually now he's, grateful, that he was taught a good work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was growing up, my dad was like, if you want to quit doing something, that's up to you. My mom was like, no, she made a commitment. She's going to see it through. Tap dance, ballet, jazz, African dance lessons, piano, voice lessons, acting lessons, 4-H club, Girl Scouts club, chess club. I was in all of that and then some. And when I said, I want to quit doing these things, my dad was like, let her quit. She doesn't want to do it. My mom was like, no, she's going to continue to do it. Mm-hmm. Once they got a divorce, then that's when I was able to quit. Because when I was with my dad, my mom couldn't ensure that I was going to these things. So that took a toll. How they raised us, how they parented us had a lot to do with their divorce. It wasn't because of us. It was because of their different styles of doing things.
Gotcha.
My dad's a Taoist. My mom's a Southern Baptist Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That had a lot to do with things. My mom put my dad through college.
Mm-hmm.
She worked to put him through college, and she waited until it was her time. So in that old school method of thinking, that way of thinking, I made a commitment. I have to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tried. They tried so hard to keep their relationship together. They never argued in front of us. They never fought in front of us. They never said a bad word in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it came as such a shock and such a surprise when they told us
that they were divorcing.
And because they're so old school and they don't talk about personal stuff with their children, because they see us as children. You're a child. You don't need to know about adult things.
Stay in a child's place.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they couldn't explain to us why they were getting a divorce. How they went about it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They did it textbook. They didn't argue. Everything was amicable. It was a perfect textbook way to end the relationship. But not for us.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we were like, just last night, you were dancing to Stevie Wonder in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're getting a divorce.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So
probably kind of upsetting too.
Yeah.
For you guys, like your children and your parents are divorcing.
Right. So, for me, it was a little bit harder because my sister, she's 7 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
My brother is 9 years older than me. They were damn near out of the house at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I was 11.
Yeah.
You know, so it was tough on me. I took it the hardest because I didn't understand. There was so much more that I couldn't understand. They told my brother and my sister a whole lot more than what they could tell me. And my brother and sister, because of the age gap,
they understood.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they didn't think that it was my place to know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took it completely differently. And I think that really kind of messed up my way of seeing how a relationship should be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting into all these different relationships as a teenager and as a young adult, and thinking that every man is my dad. Mm-hmm. Every man is a good man. Every man is going to follow through with a commitment, you know? Yeah. And then slowly realizing, shit, not everybody is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is a good guy. There are people out there willing to manipulate me. I had no concept of that at all, one bit whatsoever. So I was never on my toes.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so once I start to realize that, I started treating dudes like dudes treated me.
Yeah.
And because to me, in my mind, in that very young age, that made sense.
Yeah, that mentality of just like, okay, if they say, forgive me, I'm going to say, forgive them. I'm treating them the same way they treat me. Right.
Exactly. And then, you know,
giving them the same energy they're giving you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So then I got with my ex, and that's when I'd start to turn things around because he was great with my kid and we were having kids together and everything was great at first. And then I realized this is the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is a fucking demon.
Yeah.
You know? He was a terrible, horrible, awful human, way worse than I could ever even think about being. Mm-hmm. So it's been a struggle for me to be in a healthy relationship.
Gotcha.
And so that's why I'm still trying to work on me and work on my issues, because a lot when you've been hurt so badly,
mm-hmm.
you know, you have other issues, and some of those issues will surface. Some of those issues you don't even know you had.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I know that as of right now, and in the foreseeable future, I can't see myself being with someone, not because in a monogamous relationship, not because I'm being selfish, but because I'm thinking about all aspects of what a relationship is and what it should be.
Yeah.
You know, then the next person that I date, that I really, and the next person that I carve out, when I start carving out time that I could be doing something else, that I'm taking time away from something else for another person, that's the last person that I want to date. You know, which is, and that's why I'm doing my own thing right now, because you know, that's not, and if I have to do my own thing for the rest of my life, that's perfectly fine, because I'm happy with being with me. I'm happy with who I see in the mirror. It's completely fine. I'm totally fine with just me. So I can continue to do my thing, but if I were to ever find that person that I could be with, I want that motherfucker to be the last one.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I say, okay, I can be in a monogamous relationship with you. You do fulfill everything, all of my needs, all of my needs. So that's when I'll start thinking about locking it down. But for the foreseeable future, I don't see that happening.
Gotcha.
And that's okay. It's so, and you know, with Black women up until recently, it's been, I need someone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine not being with someone, because so many other people, I have a very close family member that does bring guys, different guys in and out. Well, she did bring different guys, still does bring different guys in and out of hers and her daughter's life all of the time, all of the time. And now her daughter has a daughter, and
she's doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing.
She saw it.
She saw it. She saw mommy couldn't be alone. Mommy couldn't love mommy. That means that I can't love me. You may not think this consciously, but subconsciously it's deeply rooted. And so
just thinking you have to be with someone, and you don't necessarily have to do that in order to be happy.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, you know, and we pass this along to our daughters. We pass a lot of things on to our daughters.
Yeah.
You know?
We do. We really do.
The terrible, the product of a terrible relationship, the anger and the resentment that we hold, we pass that along.
Yeah.
And that's why you get the stereotype of the angry Black woman.
Yeah.
Well, think about what the angry Black woman has been through.
What has she dealt with, and what has our ancestors, what they have done, what they've dealt with, and what we've seen throughout the years. You may have seen your mom, like you said, your mom went through some things with your dad. You know, we've all seen it. We've all seen Black women in our lives, and they've gone through so many things. My grandma, she was a feminist. She basically said, "Do not get married." That was her way of thinking.
Ooh.
My grandma had 6 different children by 5 different men.
Oh.
Yes. The only 2 that have the same dad are my mom, her 2 last children. My mom and her brother. These 2 are the only ones that have the same dad. But my grandma had that concept, and she always told me, and she used to call me Anna, by the way. She'd say, "Anna, don't you get married." She said, because it's not all you think. And my grandma, that's how she was brought up, you know. She just didn't think that marriage was the key to being happy. And see, some people do have that concept, but I mean, some of us do want to get married, but if we don't find that individual, that person that we think, you know, this is right one, we never find that person, then we're stuck alone.
Right.
So, like you said, learn to love yourself. Learn to accept the things that you feel like you cannot accept. You know, because things happen for a reason. And I feel like, you know, I cannot put enough emphasis on this. People, like you say, they need to know who they are before they decide to be in a relationship with someone else. Because if you don't know you for who you really are and don't accept yourself, don't accept who you become or who you may become in the near future, then you're not going to accept the individual that you're trying to be with or trying to create this relationship with.
And they're not going to be able to accept you.
Yeah, because they don't know who you are.
Right. Because you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
If you can't love you, how do you expect someone else to love you? You can't do that.
You can't. It's impossible. And you need to instill in your children, too, especially the young black women and the black men, too. Because one day they're going to be someone's husband, someone's wife.
Yep.
So, and hey, it might take them a while to get to that point. Because I mean, look at us.
Right. Exactly.
We're not married.
Right.
But I don't necessarily think it has to do anything with because we don't want to be married. We're just not going to accept things just because, hey, I love him. We're not going to accept the fact that, hey, I love him. I'm going to marry him because I love him.
Right.
Or I'm going to marry him because people think that I should or it's the right thing to do. It's just not.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I had married every guy that I loved, Lord knows where the hell I'd be. You know?
In a mess.
Yes. Exactly. A hot mess.
Yeah.
So, it's we definitely need to start doing better in taking those traits and bringing those traits to, our children. My 7-year-old, he tells me that when he grows up, he's going to be a scientist, and he's going to be married, and he's going to have 2 kids. That's his dream.
That's one of his goals.
That's one of his goals. And he can't.
I'm not mad at him.
Right. And he can't have one without the other, know? And I remember once when Roman was doing something, he was cleaning something that I didn't did not ask for him to clean. May have been cleaning out the refrigerator or something. I don't know. And my older son was like, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm cleaning out the refrigerator for Mom. And he said, well, why are you doing that? Did she tell you to do it? And he says, well, no, but I'm helping her out. He goes, well, why? She has time. I create different, in my schedule, there are times that I do certain cleaning. And, the refrigerator is something that I do every month. And it was coming close to that time, but I was really, really busy. This is when I was working 2 jobs.
Okay, yeah.
2 full-time jobs. So Roman was like, I'm helping her out. And, Peyton says, well, he couldn't understand, like, well, she already has the time to do that. You don't need to help her out. She's got this. That's the way he's thinking, Mom has this. She's fucking Superwoman. So let her be Superwoman. Roman is thinking, no, if there's something that I can do to help, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I got to nurture that.
Yeah.
And then I have to tell Peyton, hey, guess what? I'm not Superwoman. I may look like it to you because you're a kid and you see Mom going here and going there and doing this and doing that and making this money and making that money. You see that, but you don't see when I am so incredibly stressed out and can't sleep, but absolutely exhausted that I can do nothing but cry. But I cry in the shower where you can't see that.
Yeah, and that's good that your child took the initiative to go ahead and do that for you. And that's where most men, where they mess up.
Yep.
They see their moms. They're in a household where they see their moms. Their dad's not in the household, but they see their mom is the strong woman in their household. She's that strong individual. She's doing everything, every single thing, and they don't even have to lift a finger.
Right.
And they get in that relationship with a woman kind of similar to that, like to their mom. And then if the woman fails to do something that she has not been doing because she's probably tired. Right. She done came home, she done cook for you. She done wash dishes. She has a child, or you guys have children. She's giving the children baths, combed their hair, got them together, she's done everything, but her house might not look the best at the moment.
Right.
But does not mean that she's not clean. It's she's tired.
She's tired.
Why don't you help her out?
Right.
Even though men have this mindset, just like they go back in the times where, you know, where women were doing everything at home.
Mm-hmm.
Those women that were doing things at home were stay-at-home moms.
Yep.
We're not stay-at-home moms.
Nope.
We have to work.
Yep.
To pay these bills.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come home, cook, clean,
mm-hmm.
and there's other things we have piled on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing how stressed we are.
Mm-hmm.
We might talk about the stress, most of the stressful things we go through, but if we do come to you and talk to you about them, don't you think you should want to help us?
Right.
Help us out.
Help us out.
And I don't think most men don't understand that, especially when they've been in that home where that mom has been able to do every single thing. And,
right.
you know, they haven't, like you said, they haven't even seen her budge.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't even cried.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not crying in front of you. Like you said, she don't want you to see her cry.
Right.
So I don't think most men understand that, and they look for those type of women. Mm-hmm. And so that's when they start going into trying. And then I know people are probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but most black women I know they were putting on social media. Most black men now are going into they're talking to the other races. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it because they're saying, oh, black women are angry, mad black women out here, and they don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. So they go to these other races and talk to these other races thinking that it's going to be better on the other side. And some people necessarily don't even do this, but I'm just saying there's some people that think like this.
Right.
So don't get offended by it, you know. It's some people that actually think like that, and some people just like, you know, they might find love in another race. Right. So not everyone is like that. Right. But some guys do think that, and I saw someone put it up on Facebook as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. His guy was like, these black women are mad and angry, and I went to the other side. Mm-hmm. He married a Caucasian woman, a white woman, because he felt like, well, you know, he could get over on her. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't going to let him get over on her either. So don't think just because she's this race that you're going to get over on her because, you know, she's not a black woman. That's not necessarily right. Right. So don't, you know, judge a book by its cover.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that is, it's funny, you bringing up, you know, race and interracial couples and whatnot. Growing up, I just so happened to go to predominantly white schools. Mm-hmm. And plenty of times where I was the only black kid in the entire grade. Ooh. Yeah. Now, that was rough.
I bet.
That was really, really rough. But once I hit middle school and where all the dances started happening and stuff like that, you know, there was a handful of other black kids that were at my school, but, you know, and I would naturally gravitate towards the other black boys, and I'm like, oh my God, I would really like to go to this dance with you, you know? Yeah. And I'm putting out these signals, and they're like, oh no, I'm going with Elizabeth, you know? Yeah. I'm going with Becky.
Oh yeah.
And I kept getting shut down by black guys. Mm-hmm. And it was constant. Now, that was a them issue, you know, and it narrowed my pool to other races who didn't give a shit, you know? Yeah. It was like only the black guys had an issue with dating a nappy-headed little girl, you know?
Yeah.
You see me? So then that's when I'm like, okay, well, it's not like I made a conscious effort, like, well, these black men don't want me, might as well get a white man. It's not, it wasn't like that. I wanted to date black guys, but that just wasn't available to me. And so, like, my sister, you know, she's significantly older than me, and she went to predominantly black schools. And it's almost as though we were raised in different families because she's so vastly different from me. I mean, we've got a ton of similarities, but we're very, very different. So you know, she would make jokes about, she would make jokes about how, I don't date black guys, and she goes another white boy. And when I finally did bring home a black guy, she just made a big fucking deal out of it. And it annoyed me so much, because it's like, it's not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, but I don't know. I think that really and truly, we need to do better with our men in learning how to embrace a black woman. Now,
Yes.
That's not to say you should tell your son you can't go and date a white girl. Don't bring no white girls home. Of course, we've heard that from at least 2 or 3 other black women, our friends' mamas or whatever. Don't you bring home no white boy. Don't you bring home no white girl, And we need to stop doing that shit too. So I don't know. I think we have a lot to work on. I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Okay.
It was good talking to you, and we should definitely do this again.
Most definitely. And it was marvelous. I think that people will probably learn from it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So I was vaping the entire time. I didn't think it would pick up on the microphone, but it definitely did. I'm glad that I started vaping, though. I was a pretty heavy smoker. I was smoking about a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. And as we all know, cigarettes are bad for you. Shouldn't do it. So in about the 3.5 weeks that I've been vaping, I have smoked about 4 cigarettes. And that's only because my battery had died or whatever. So I wasn't even craving a cigarette. So that's really good. I think I'm going to start taking the nicotine down, and then eventually start vaping without nicotine. And we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, that was the podcast, and I am so grateful to Star for being able to come on and talk with me. I think we had a really great rapport, and I look forward to having her back on sometime soon. It was really good, and we got deep. We got in there. We uncovered some things, and we unmasked some things, and I think that's beautiful, because sometimes we go through things alone and not realizing that other people are going through the same thing. And just the thought, just knowing that your problem isn't always exactly unique to you, knowing that someone else is going through something similar, that makes it easier to bear. So I'm really happy about that. Now it's time for me to go ahead and plug a black-owned business. The black-owned business that I would like to plug today is none other than Star's sister, Amelia Smith. You can find Amelia Smith on Facebook at Beautifully Crafted. She does arts and crafts for all types of events: weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, gender reveals, baby showers, all kinds of events, graduations. She does arts and crafts and different items for these events. So it's absolutely wonderful. Like I said, you can find her on Facebook at Beautifully Crafted, or you can email her at ameliajsmith@yahoo.com. That's AmeliaJSmith@yahoo.com. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and she has these amazing mugs with the Breast Cancer Awareness ribbon and their Believe print on the mugs. So they're beautiful, they're wonderful. Go out and get you a handful. We all know somebody in our lives that has suffered from some type of cancer. I think, and especially within the Black community, and we all know somebody that suffered from breast cancer. My mom is a breast cancer survivor. So it's a beautiful thing. Go out and get you some mugs. And Definitely support this Black-owned business, this wonderful, amazing, talented young lady. Go out and support her. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for show topics, you can email me at tqtpodcast@gmail.com. I do not yet have any social media for this podcast. I think I'm starting to spread myself a little thin. So I need to rework my schedule because there are people in my life that I need to make room for. So some things, I'm not saying some things are going to go by the wayside, but definitely I'm going to be making more time and more room for others. Anyhow, that is the episode. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really need to figure out some sort of sign off because I keep flip flopping. Stay black, because not everybody that listens to my podcast is black. Stay woke. I don't know, because woke is being so overused. It doesn't mean what it used to mean anymore. Some of y'all just so woke, y'all need to go back to sleep. It's a hot mess. I'll figure something out. Bye.